Hey y'all, I just wanted to do another video, and this time it's going to be about spooning my onions. I briefly spoke about that on my first garden tour, and I'll explain a little bit more about it as I actually do the spooning. See what I will try to zoom in, but I'm gonna get to work on spooning the onions, and then I'll zoom in so you can see more what I'm doing. I actually came out earlier and did like 4 lines on that side, and then I was like, man, I should be putting this on the screen. So I went in and got my camera, made sure that it was charged, and what I'm actually doing this with, this came on a Miracle Grow fertilizer, and it's like a scoop, and I'm just going around the onion with it to do what they call spooning. These are green onions. I have probably somewhere around 200 in here. I haven't really counted them, but I have 10 rows. The first 2 rows on that side are white onions, or they may be yellow onions, I'm sorry. They're yellow onions. Then I have 4 rows of red onions, and then 2 rows of white onions, and then 2 rows of sweet onions. So the sweet onions are a little bit different from the yellow onions, but they're basically about the same color. The sweet onions I'm hoping are going to be like a Valdeia onion, and because I like those better, but I'll use yellow onions also. Just depends on what the recipe calls for. So green onions, if you don't go around them with a spoon or with your finger or whatever it is that you have, I've even had found a stick laying nearby and went around them with the stick before. I haven't went around every single one of them, but I have went around the majority of them before. But when it rains, the rain sort of compacts the soil back down. But what the spooning actually does is it gives the bulb room enough to expand and to grow bigger. If you don't do the spooning, then the spooning will actually, if you don't do the spooning, then the onion will actually just grow long and skinny, and it won't have a bulb on it. So I'm hoping that by doing this spooning that I'll have some big onions. And I have plans when it's harvest time, or before it's harvest time, to make a rack made out of probably chicken wire with some 2x4s and some chains hanging on each corner, so that I can put up under my lean-to over at my building and my chicken coop. But it'll be not in the building, and it won't be in the chicken coop, but it'll be in between those, where I have the panels on top of the lean-to. The sun can shine through there, and it'll be the rack will be for drying out the onions, and it'll be in an area where it'll still get they'll still get sunlight, but they won't get any rain on them. So the onions will be able to dry out. I've never done this before. This is my first year. This raised bed is actually was built last fall, and then in the spring I was putting my debris from my garden, any kind of grass clippings, leaves, all that in here, and then on top of that I put probably about 4 yards of garden blend soil from a local company called Earth Farms. They have compost, garden blend, they have mulch, they have all kinds of stuff like that, and it's organic. So I put, like I said, about 4 yards of soil in here, and then I planted the onions shortly after that. I think I planted the onions somewhere in February. I'll have to get the exact date and I'll post it on the screen of the video. But so this is my first time growing this many onions. I've grown onions before, the green onions, but I never did spoon around them. And I've watched a lot of videos recently telling you how to spoon around them to make the bulbs actually bigger. So Hollis and Nancy are a YouTube channel that goes in detail about this. Hollis does a very good job in explaining it, and if I can find that video, I'll attach it to this video so you can watch it also. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just taking the little spoon thing and going around each one. Some of them are already bigger than the other ones. There is some small ones throughout. If they don't all get big, then we'll probably end up coming out and just picking some anyway to go in our recipes that we have when we need green onions. But I'm going around as many as I can, and then that way, if they do have a chance to get bigger, that's good. But if they don't, then we'll just use them for green onions. And you can also, you can make your own onion powder. I've never done that before. I'm looking forward to finding a recipe for that this year. And possibly freezing some in freezer bags. Just taking the green and chopping those up, and we can use those in different recipes. But what I'll do is I'll get the camera, because I've got around a lot of these down here, and I've tried to explain what it is I'm doing, and then now I can actually show you what I'm doing. There's one right here, or a few actually. So I'm just taking the spoon and I'm going around, and I'm going down as far as I can see the bulb, and then careful not to dig the actual onion up and leaving its roots intact. And then just going around each one. And that's all you have to do. Now, like I said, I have come out and done this to, I would say at least over half the bed, at least one time, and then come back later after it had rained, and it had actually, the rain had beat the soil back around the onions. So I'm hoping that it's not too late, that that I'm actually, you know, doing this in time enough for them to get bigger. But I think that I am. I think that I'm doing it at the right time. So I'm just going to zoom out, and then I'm going to continue to dig, and I may speed this up later on. can basically use any spoon that you want to. But like I said, I just got this off of one of the liquid Miracle Grow containers that I had purchased earlier in the year. And that's all it is. Hollis had also mentioned that the onions, to know when it's time to harvest them, of course the bulb's going to be big and they're going to pop up more on top of the ground. The bulbs will be bigger on top of the ground, or you know, still the root's going to be down in there, but the actual green stalks are going to be falling over when it's actually time to harvest. That's a couple of the indications. I hope you like this video. I wanted to get this done today, and I thought it would be a good time to at least post what I'm doing for my record, so that I'll have like a journal record of it, and then also to help anyone who hadn't never seen it done before. And I will add to this video later on. I'll post it right now, but then later on when I go to harvest, I'll post where I actually make the rack, the drying rack for the onions, but then also post when I'm getting ready to harvest, and if I have to come out and do this anymore from where the rain actually beats it back up around the onions. But I think that's all for this time. And as always, I appreciate you watching my videos, and if you will hit the like button and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. And then also you can hit the bell so that it will give you alerts to the next time I post a video. And I hope that you have a blessed garden and a bountiful harvest. Thank you.